Don't go with the one you fell in love because you're going to be breaking it.
Welcome to Part-Time Nomad podcast. On this episode, I'm meeting up with my friend and the guy who's behind Outduro and Outduro Scout Festival in Latvia. And that guy is Rihards Grunte. We will talk about Outduro as an organization and Outduro Scout and overall, like how did he get into adventure bikes and just things like that. So grab a beer, coffee or tea or whatever and let's start the episode. So welcome Rihards. Cheers.
Welcome.
Cheers. So I need to drink, yeah?
Yeah. He's being awkward.
This is the second time. This is already the second time I'm doing the cheers but not drinking.
I'm going to run out of beer this way.
So we're here to talk about Outduro, but let's start talking about you. So how it all started with the bikes for you?
All right, first off, hey everyone who's watching Part-Time Nomad episodes. I'm really happy about Einar starting these episodes and just wanted to tell you guys that there's a lot of interesting people out there who you may not know, and this guy is bringing them to light. So you kind of can have a better an opportunity to understand more of their background, how they got to where they are, and why sometimes you see their faces, and just a way to kind of introduce the nomads or the or the lone wolves sometimes.
Do you know the meaning of part-time nomad? Do you know why is it called part-time nomad?
Yeah, I have a hunch. Because I feel like a part-time nomad as well, but less and less and less I have this actual nomading. Because I started maybe as a lone wolf, and then I started kind of part-timing, and then I ended up with a community, running like a community, building a community, and so far it's been less of me going out on adventures and more on building the community and working on stuff and so on. But anyways, you asked how it all started.
Yeah.
And it's actually a funny story. And it started off with my friend, Yanis, who introduced me to his adventure bike. He had a KTM 640. And at that time, I kind of did not know how to ride motorcycles. But I was really interested in them, and he said, "You should come, and I'll show you my bike." And so he did. So I did. I visited him. He showed his KTM, and he said, "Get on, go for a ride." I'm like, "I don't know how to ride." He says, "It's easy. Here's gas. Here's the clutch. You just release the clutch slowly, gas, and then you go." That was all good. He forgot to tell me how to brake. So I was going down the street and I'm like, yeah, this is adventuring and really excited, but yeah, I forgot how to gas. And I gripped it, the brake at the final moment where the street ended.
The front brake, eh?
Yeah, and it went, and I'm like, heart is pounding, like, and I think that was the first moment I really felt that excitement. You know that excitement when you go adventure riding in some gnarly routes, like... And I fell in love with that feeling. And ever since, I've been trying to chase that feeling.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, because it was the same for me as well. Like when I started, it's like I didn't know how to switch the gears. Like my first ride on a motorcycle was on a 450 Honda motocross bike. And in the winter, where like the roads were like with ice, and basically the guy who took me for a ride, he took me to a sand track.
Yeah.
So the first opportunity was I thought like I'm not made for this. Yeah, like I didn't know how to switch gears, and so like riding in the sand was crazy.
Every time I hear a story from someone who started with a motorcycle, they end up on their back.
Actually, one time before I actually wanted to try like that time when that guy took me to a motocross track, not a motocross track, but basically like a sand track. That was actually the second time. First time was with Artur's Steve, and he gave me his bike in the winter, and I went over. So if you fall down, if you don't know how to ride, it's usually end up with like riding bikes.
So Artur's, you're responsible for him being here.
So that started with the motorcycles, and then for you, like that was the first ride. And how did you decide like that you want to do this? Because obviously you wasn't good with it, and
so anything you're not good at, you have the opportunity to learn it. And I think it's better when you chase the things in life where you're not good at, because the process of learning is, I think, the joy in itself. You know, you enjoy. If you don't enjoy the process of learning a skill or a craft, then don't do it. And I enjoyed because I come from a background where a lot of computers, a lot of technologies and stuff like that, and I need something totally opposite in my hobbies.
Yeah.
I have to get out, I have to go outdoors and stuff like that. And when I moved to Riga, the capital city in Latvia, I quickly joined the National Guard because that was the fastest way how to get out of a desk job, you know, like not a desk job, but in the weekends, how to get out in the wild, you know?
Yeah.
And with that came a lot of skill sets that I learned, outdoors, you know, navigation, medicine, and generally just adapting to a kind of feeling when everything is down, when rain is pouring, you know, everything is bad. You kind of adapt psychology, like you're in a psychology way, you also adapt.
Yeah.
And that's when you kind of start chasing more of these feelings. And so motorcycling was something new. It gave me the right adrenaline, and I enjoyed it very much. And I decided I could kind of take this motorcycle and head into outdoors, right?
Yeah.
Because before that, I also did a lot of hiking.
Did you have any friends doing it already?
Yeah, I went on a lot of hikes with a local kind of community called Strelnieks. And I loved every hike of it that we had. But damn, the blisters and hurting shoulders and me always overpacking because I want to take this and that. And
your frying pan, yeah?
Yeah, I don't want to like eat those roll-ons, you know, like the cheap foods. And,
the noodles, yeah.
I want something like big. I want to cook and stuff like that. So it's all in weight. And so, yeah. I decided that motorcycle was a better option to go outdoors and bring all the stuff that you want.
You can take more stuff with you.
It had that, you know, that middle ground between going on a vehicle in outdoors, because going on a vehicle, you always feel this safety, you know, like every time you can just hop in your vehicle and get warm. You don't have that on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
The only place where you can warm yourself with a motorcycle is on the exhaust, at least your hands, you know. And everything else, you still are kind of affected by the environment around you. So rain, so wind, snow, dust, and whatever affects you. And if you have grown kind of to love it, then it doesn't affect you as much, and you enjoy your rides even more. And now when I can take all of my cooking gear, my, you know, like chairs and stuff like that, integrate outdoors, I enjoy the environment more because at the end of the day, I'm not tired, you know. I might be tired because if I go crazy riding, you know.
Yeah, you have to carry all the stuff out.
Yeah, and then I feel a bit tired. But anyways, I still have enjoyed the whole day riding. And at the end, I can take out all of my stuff, you know, great camp and just enjoy it.
You know, you know, have you seen that quote? Basically, you don't have to be good at any hobby, at your hobbies. Yeah, and I think that's like a cheesy Instagram reel, basically. But it kind of kicked me in a way that I'm like always thinking like I have to be good with the motorcycle, I have to learn things and have to do certain things, and then by the end of the day, it's your hobby. You can do whatever you want in your own way, and you don't have to stick to like one way of doing it. Like you don't have to do it the way Rihards do it, or the way I do it, or the way anyone does it. You do it your own way, and you have fun with it, and like
enjoy your own way, you know.
Yes,
process.
Like some people I sometimes do. I love the challenge of it. Like I love the challenge. I love riding in the snow, or like I don't really love riding in the snow. I love the challenge of riding in the snow. If you know what I mean. Yeah. So it's like I love the challenge, like, and that is like adventure riding for me. But some other people might think like that's horrible. Like you don't enjoy it, but I do enjoy it. You know, and for you it's like going outdoors. Going outdoors, cooking like. He's the master of burgers and steaks. So if you go with him,
the first burger I cooked, I overcooked it. It was dry. It was even too overcooked. It was black, you know, and it just disaster.
But you have been lazy with this, I think, recently. Like when I joined Outduro, like when you asked me to join Outduro, like you made some good burgers or steaks, something. We made something on the trip, burgers, and it's like I need to go with this guy. Yeah, we need to hang out more.
Well, that's the kind of thing when you kind of start being more organized and kind of giving or sharing your craft, love for your passion in organizing events or doing whatever, like teaching even, you kind of start doing less of this actual stuff,
Yeah.
And that's okay. If as long as you have at least some minimum where you can hold on to, some days in the year where you kind of plan your things when you're going to be either solo or you're with your family and just do the things you love. And so I still have those days. I can do it with my family, with random people. I do it less solo.
With random people,
It sometimes happens just, you meet some random people and you can have fun with them as well.
Yeah.
But soloing, that's becoming kind of a rare kind of thing for me now.
Yeah, I actually like the thing is how I found Rihards, like that was years ago. I don't know how many, 3 or 4 or something like that. But I started I had an adventure bike at that time. I used to ride, I had some riding friends. But as I work during the summer, basically all my summer months, as I'm a photographer, all my summer months are really busy and I don't really have enough time to ride as much as I would like to. And usually when the season ends, it's the beginning of my season. So I have time, I can ride. And I was checking some YouTube videos and I saw this guy who's camping in the snow and he's living somewhere close to me and riding bikes, and I thought, I have to message him, let's ride together. And I don't know if he went for a ride that time or not, but
we did.
But that was already summer, that was spring or
postponed.
Something. Yeah, postponed. We postponed it. I was thinking, let's go for a ride now, basically.
I think the first ride we went on was the spring.
Yeah.
Before you kind of took out some locals on a ride. So I think first time we met, just 3 of us or 4 of us.
No, that was the second time, I think. That with Yanis,
Yeah.
That was the second or third time, I think. The first time was you came to my area with guys from Riga. Mm-hmm. There was some guys from Saldus coming over.
Oh yeah.
And there was still ice on the roads and everything. Yeah, so
that was not enjoyable.
that was enjoyable. you see the difference. Yeah, it's he's not enjoying it. I love it. Yeah, that was my habitat.
It was
basically.
a dog walk on the ice with a motorcycle.
I really enjoyed that ride. Really. So that's the story about you. But how did Outduro start? I wasn't the first one who joined Outduro.
Yeah. So continuing on my story on how I started riding was, of course, the decision of buying a motorcycle. And I looked through all of the kind of ads, local ads, where someone was selling their motorcycle, and I found my Bruno that I call. It's a BMW G650 X Challenge. It's kind of a rare motorcycle, but it's really kind of, to my eyes, I fell in love right away. It was kind of this unique or stylish or elegant brown color.
Was you specifically looking for that motorcycle, or that was just a thing that appeared?
That was just a thing that appeared, and it's love on the first sight, And of course, I didn't do any research of how expensive the parts are for it when you fix it. As a recommendation for anyone who's picking out your first motorcycle, don't go with the one you fell in love with. Go with the one that's cheapest to repair, the plastics, the fairings, all that stuff, because you're going to be breaking it. And I saw the ad, and it was somewhere in Daugavpils, far away from capital city of Riga. And I asked my friend again, Yanis, who got me in all of this, you're going to help me buy my first motorcycle, and he was totally on board with it. And we went to that place where the person was selling the bike, and we looked at it. It was awesome. Test ride was awesome. It was equipped for city riding with these tires for tarmac.
Yeah, just the road tires.
Yeah, and but as he kind of switched it on, when I heard first time the engine roar, I mean, again, love on first sight. And And Yanis helped me bring it back to Riga. And
Did you ride it
I
back?
didn't ride it because I didn't have my driver's license, so I didn't have the correct category. And since it's a 650cc, you have to have a kind of this class.
Yeah.
And I didn't have it, so of course I signed up already prior this purchase, but I was still in the process of finishing it, and I got my motorcycle before I finished my license. I was at that part where you have to go to these local kind of small riding areas, and then you would hop on to your instructor's motorcycle and then ride around the kind of field. And how I did it, of course, is Yanis did more tutoring, and I learned how to ride the motorcycle. And I ride myself to that area, and then I hopped on the instructor's bike, and then I did all the kind of
learning and stuff.
Yeah. And first time going kind of on a ride.
Don't do it, kids.
Don't do it. That's not legal. And when I went the first ride, of course I wanted to kind of impress my guys. We went with a small group on a ride. We met up in a fuel station, so all of the guys get together. And there were different kind of bikes. There was Yanis with his KTM 640. There was another Yanis with a Dominator, I think. And then some guys had rental bikes. And as we were pulling out of the fuel station, heading on our kind of trail that Yanis had put together, there's a lot. It's a busy street, and there's a lot of cars moving in. And of course, I barely know how to operate the clutch. And of course, what I'm thinking at that moment is, I'm going to give a lot of gas and then open the clutch, and then swiftly go into my lane. And what happens, of course, you learn how to do a wheelie. Because I popped a wheelie in the middle of the street. I popped a wheelie, and I'm like, oh shit, what's happening? And the guys are like, yeah, awesome, bro, cool stuff. And I'm like scared shitless, And I'm nearing the end of the road, and at the final moment, it kind of lands.
Dropped, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like... And all the cars are passing by looking at me like, what a crazy dude. And again, my heart is pounding and like, yeah, man.
Yeah, wanted to be cool, yeah. But,
yeah. And at the same actually ride, I learned the first thing you learn when going off-roading, when you kind of switch from tarmac to sand, to not use your front brake.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what happened?
Obviously, yeah.
As I kind of learned more to ride, I started taking pictures of my motorcycle. Of course, I found some communities on those motorcycles, and I saw that there were not kind of a lot of people posting like sexy pictures of your motorcycle online. And I just had my phone camera, but I quickly learned how to use kind of these presets, in your phone, and made the pictures really kind of cool in certain way. And I needed a kind of a place where to upload them, and I started thinking about names on creating an Instagram account where I could upload these images.
Yeah.
At first it was on my private profile, but I decided that I should separate this thing, because my private profile was my private things and it was private. So I started kind of thinking about, all right, what do I love? I like outdoors. I love outdoors, and I love going on adventures. And then I came up with Outduro. And I'm like, yeah, so excited, Outduro, and I'm just Googling it, and there's all around things called Outduro. And I'm like, yeah, I cannot go with that. I have to back to the drawing board. So I'm figuring, so outdoors, enduro, Outduro. And that's how I basically came to that.
Did you Google it?
I Googled it, and there was like a green light. There was nothing coming up for that. And since I have been in this industry, like marketing, I know how to kind of pick your brand and how to come up with a good brand name and lasting and stuff like that. So it hit all the check boxes that I wanted, because as soon as I started kind of figuring out this name, I already had these crazy visions about the brand's longevity, future,
Yeah.
And what Outduro is today, I did not imagine it.
Yeah.
But I knew it was going to be something big, and the word itself was really strong.
So what were you imagining back then?
So back then, I was just figuring it would be like my private profile, just with a lot of followers, crazy, nice images, adventures.
Girls, bikes,
Yeah,
beer.
girls, bikes. Because at that time, I was also divorced. And of course, I was crazy to go out riding, it's like getting the adrenaline and stuff like that. And to be honest, girls don't like that much of adventure bikes, and that combination is not that sexy actually. So
yeah,
if you're in the industry for girls, it's the wrong choice.
If you're thinking you're
bike.
gonna get an adventure bike and go all muddy through the city, and the girl's gonna jump on you, no.
But actually, my current girlfriend, she digs it, so she's always asking when are we gonna do a photo session, like on the bike, and I'm like, the calendar. What type of calendar are we making next year?
So because you're like when you're riding an adventure bike, you're always dirty and you're always like you look like a miserable
hobo,
miserable homeless man. Yeah, so
that's
not sexy.
Not sexy, exactly. You can get kind of used to it yourself, because you don't care.
Only attention what you're gonna get is from middle-aged men,
because he's on the road living it, awesome.
So and what happened after that? Like you had a profile, and then how did it all like from there from your personal profile? How did it all became what it is now?
Yeah, so I started uploading all the pictures online. Had some good kind of reactions there. People really liked the images, and after some while, I found a local community. It was called Apasole, or an adventure riding community, and because they were looking for someone who could help them out with their social accounts, like creating content, I guess, or something like that. And so I got together and I met Martin Sills, and we worked on his website, helped with the social accounts, YouTube channels, and stuff like that. And of course, went riding with him. At that moment, he was refreshing or building the TET, Trans-Euro Trail tracks in Latvia. So I got the opportunity to go with him on those adventures. And boy, those were some crazy adventures. Riding through Latvia, I felt really like the people who were going on those rides, we were like sometimes 4, sometimes 6, and sometimes down to 3. And we felt like crazy gypsies, traveling around, just partying, drinking, and building, of course, the trails. But it was like the secondary stuff. Martin was thinking about building the trails, and we were more about like experiencing the adventure already that was happening around there. Yeah. Every night, like camping outside, And I think that's when I felt really this great spirit of adventure riding, and the bros you have around you, And at the evening, at the campfire, where you share the day's stories of who saw what, or who got the biggest challenge, or who's now the dirtiest, or what stuff broke and how we're gonna fix it tomorrow. It really you felt the community like in that, and I think that was the first time it saved in my back brain somewhere. And I continued riding with them as it progressed. I kind of separated from that community because I was already on the process of thinking about my own community. And I saw that I had like the way how I want to do things is probably going on my own and doing those things on my own. But of course, I wanted some of my riding bros, so to say, with me. And so I asked the first guys to join. We created an association first off, and we registered it officially. And so the first ones were me, Carlis, my mechanic at that time. He helped me build Bruno, fix it all the time. Egils, who I met also through Apasole, who's an interesting voice. He's working in radios, and he also plays classical instruments, so highly intelligent guy. And of course, Yanis, who got me into adventure riding. So the four of us amigos, formed a new alliance, so to say. And we kind of just kept riding, I think first we created this mug. It's something that we introduced. And really fast. It spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing a lot of people dig what we are doing, like riding, taking a cast iron pan, cooking a steak, like living the life, and
Yeah.
and advertising, showing those pictures, and we started actually creating events for that, and people really enjoyed that, and that kind of sparked me as well the fuel of creating these events further, and just sharing this passion, with the rest of the adventure riders in Latvia.
Was like you know the time when we met like on that ride from like when you came from Riga. Back then there wasn't no like there was Outduro, but there was no other.
Yanis was there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Janis was there, and and then after that straight. I think that the same year you had the first event. Yeah.
Yes, I was already, I think, on a new bike on Tenere that I had kind of borrowed from a friend. And sorry, the friend who I borrowed the bike, I know I promised I would not scratch it, but I'm deeply sorry because I ruined the bike, I know, and I did purchase it from that friend.
You have to give some reference what you did to the bike. You crashed.
So
I think you had like one major crash.
Well, you took us in those crazy trails, like we're gonna go easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
I think that was the one time. Yeah.
Yeah, and then those trails got more gnarly, and we end up like scratching the sides. And
I think we were putting those routes together. I don't know if it was for the event or you were planning to do like a map of like similar to TED, but just like another one. And yeah, we went on the scouting trips.
Yeah, that was one of the ideas of creating like a TED, but in Latvia.
Yeah.
But more in kind of these counties, across a bigger map, like a spider web across Latvia with trails.
At that time, I started to kind of quietly hate Teneres because I had to help him pick up his bike sometimes.
Yeah, it was always the top heavy, and as soon as you stop, you kind of follow. Gently put it on the side, but it still scratches the bike.
So and then after that there were the events, and then it's kind of escalated and
really fast.
And up to now, like basically, like how was this year? Like this year was.
So I'll start with the first event because it's like a really, it's a fun, tragic story. Yeah. So the first event was basically an idea that I had, and I kind of announced it. And I didn't have a lot of expectations. There's going to be a lot of people. And since at that time I didn't know how to kind of organize or what it's going to cost, I ended up with 15 people who paid, I think, 15 euros. And we gathered at the garage. And at that time I was already on my new Tenere. And I took them on the trail that I had put together, and it was near my country house where we camped. There's a lake, and I kind of let everyone to that location, and I went back to my country house to get my car that I had already in the previous day stuffed with all the camping stuff, because I had promised that I'm going to be cooking burgers, and just experiencing the Outduro style, And so I rode back to my country house, took the car, went back to the lake. And at that same time, me and Egils, we had started this Outduro kind of series of Meet the Rider. So it's something similar to yours. But since Egils was traveling all around the world because of his work, he had the opportunity to meet some locals, riders, adventure riders that are more popular. And he had these interviews. And at that time, Pedro Moto, who was actually one of my also inspirations, who I followed a lot, he was traveling in Europe and heading through Latvia. So I messaged him and said, hey, you want to meet up? We are organizing like this ride. We're going to be doing some camping, burgers and stuff like that. And I also messaged Egils and said, hey, this Pedro Moto guy is going to be traveling. Would you like to do an interview with him, And so we did, and Egils met the guy, and he brought him to our camp near the lake. And we enjoyed that evening, burgers and interviews, funny stories from Pedro, and a lot of cool things. And so next day, when we kind of packed together again, I took my car, and I rode back to my country house, where the plan was that all of them would take their motorcycles, ride back to the country house, and then I would take my motorcycle and kind of lead them again further down the trail or the route that I had planned. And as we were driving this, not far, like 5 kilometers from my house, from a single kind of house or compound that I had been riding past like many times, a dog kind of ran out and I hit him, and of course I went above my steering wheel and landed on my hands, and unfortunately I broke my hand.
You still have a scar?
I still have a scar in 2 places, and the irony is that on the other side I have a tattoo that says "Seek Adventure," and now there's a scar going past it, like right after the seek. Doctors said they were so proud because they did not ruin the tattoo.
Show me. Oh, yeah.
And there's another scar on the other side because they had to cut it all open. I had two surgeries, I think, or 3 surgeries.
Yeah.
And yeah, so when I broke my arm, it was also a moment of, like, what do you call it? Like,
time for yourself, basically. You had time for yourself to think?
no, not that, but I also had an idea that how important it is that in rider group, someone knows how to handle these situations, And in the military where I had trained, we all kind of knew this basic medicine, like immobilize your hand, put it above your shoulder, and yada, yada. And one of the guys was actually one of my friends who is serving in the military, and he knew perfectly what to do. So he brought like a plank from the house. We used to tie it and mobilize the arm. Egils went back to my car, got the car, and then we head to the kind of hospital, yeah. And that was another idea that how important it is to kind of teach this experience further down, because I've seen a lot of adventure riders going into some crazy situations without no experience in medicine, no kit as well in medicine. And I have seen myself with my eyes where there has been a crash with a motorcycle where someone has tore off his leg. And only because his body knew how to use a tourniquet, like apply a tourniquet from his belt, he saved his life.
Okay.
And that's why I carry a tourniquet on my backpack as well.
Yeah.
And you never know, and be prepared. And that's why it also inspired me to create these kind of events in future that involve, exactly, educating people. And so with a broken arm, I had a lot of free time now. No more urge to go out riding. I started organizing these events, and there was like 1, 2, 3, and the count just kept going. And of course, I needed some help, and I had the great resource or opportunity, or it was like a big coincidence because I never kind of had the idea that Outduro members at that time, who were kind of starting to grow, would be the ones creating these events, It was just felt like together, and they helped out really a lot. And it happened so that a lot of the members had different skills, Most of us were already in National Guard, so we had all the skills needed to kind of share. We had a great photographer as well, and videographer, and it all kind of came together, and we started producing great content, great events, a great community altogether. So all these puzzle pieces came together and made Outduro what it is today in Latvia. And now we're kind of starting to expand more.
Yeah. So fast forward, like from the beginning, and that was how many years?
So that first event was in 2022.
Okay, so not that many actually.
Yes,
it's just
that's
like
what always people are kind of
2 or 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. Like last year.
Yeah, they're always
the
surprised because
festival.
It hasn't been so much, and we've grown so fast.
And then, like, how did this year look for Outduro? as an organization? Like, I mean, like the event-wise and...
Yeah, so I would say it was, and it's gonna be like growing all the time, but it was the biggest year of Outduro. And in terms of what events we had, the participation count, different priorities, but also because, well, it kind of, it grew on us a bit, made us a bit of tired as well, because we ended up like creating more events than actually riding ourselves,
Yeah.
and it put a lot of strain on members as well, which I kind of recognize.
That was this year or the...
That was this year, yeah. But last year already, we had also a lot of events, but also this year. And so going forward, we kind of have to figure out the resource behind it so that it's on par with events and also our own kind of rides or free time, like in a good balance. And we are still going to keep on kind of educating and sharing our knowledge because it just creates a better community, and not just Outduro, like adventure riding community.
Yeah.
So they're more educated on medicine stuff, navigation, equipment as well, which is important because these days there's a lot of shit equipment, going out there. In adventure riding, you don't want to compromise on cheap equipment because you had your own experience with cheap equipment, We had seen failing luggage, just getting wrecked and all your belongings ending up on a road. And also some important things is as community building itself, because what we understood from the events is that a lot of people actually enjoy the company, the camaraderie, because they find out that someone who's actually been their neighbor also rides an adventure bike, and they met at the event, and now they continue riding, even traveling.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think like some people go to events like to learn things, and some people just go to hang out, and and both ways are fine.
People,
like you meet other people, and anyone who starts riding adventure bikes, it really rarely happens that you have friends already doing it. Like there is people who had already group of friends doing it, and he was the last person. But anyway, the first person of that group, he started alone basically, and he had to get either his friends, or if their friends wasn't interested. So he had to find some other friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds horrible. Yeah?
It's actually better
friends,
because you can have friends for every occasion.
Oh,
you have your fishing friends, your hunting friends,
your family friends, you hang out with families, and then you have...
But imagine if you see the same face and you're both in arguing something, and now he's in the hunting community, he's in the 4x4 community, and you're like, this guy again. So you need new friends in different kind of areas.
Yeah, get new friends, go to events. So basically, like this year, so it was even I don't know how the events what happened. Like basically there's the beginning of the season, like the season opening event. Then there is what else? There is like a boot camp, What is boot camp in like short?
So with all the events that we kind of have, we are of course testing out what works and what doesn't work, what people are interested in not, and what brings value to them as well in terms of entertainment, knowledge, and just having fun. And we want to be kind of going into each year kind of expected. So everyone expects that, next year we'll have a boot camp, a season. So a season opening, it's crucial because it's the time when we all get together, kind of meet after the long winter, brag what new is on our bike,
Show off with the new bike.
Show off, It's like, like this conference or something like that. And then we have boot camp in May, when we kind of start going into some learning, refreshing, and
that's like basically like riding skills and riding and medicine and what else?
So different kind of these skills that are outdoors. We learn already in March. We go on hikes, local hikes, small hikes where you can learn outdoor stuff, camping and survival and medicine, navigation, stuff like that. And in May, we do all the riding skills, riding, and the camping is at the evening in the campsite. But learning like these small rides and challenging kind of steep hills or overcoming obstacles. So there's like different, I would say, module or level.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what kind of experience you have with motorcycle, because every kind of boot camp will have their own set of things you're going to be learning in them.
Yeah. So it's different. You don't have to have you don't have to finish the module 1 to go to the module 2, because it's going to be just different skills that you can use, even though you missed the first one.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the idea behind that, because you can jump in any moment. And we also introduced this kind of certifications, how to say, Outduro certified adventure rider.
Yeah.
If you finish like the modules, or the levels, you get these certificates in those separate skills.
Yeah.
And next year, perhaps we'll start introducing some benefits for those who have finished our bootcamp, because we know these people are more experienced in certain things. And they're ready for more.
And I think like if you go to an event, you have other people around, and they kind of push you in a way. They don't push you physically. They don't tell you to do it. But like if you're around other people, you sometimes would try to do things that you wouldn't do on your own. Like I think many things, like even they're not dangerous or they're not really hard. They're maybe basic things. Some of them they are, and you just wouldn't do them on your own. Mm-hmm. You have there is some track or something, and there's a chance to do it on the event like this. And so there's the opening boot camp. What else?
So after boot camp we have this quest game or beginners ride usually, but now I think boot camp is with beginners ride. So next year we'll plan a quest game. It's something like a scavenger hunt, where with your motorcycle in a small kind of group, you go to different kind of these checkpoints and do different tasks.
Yeah. And you do that in a team, yeah?
Yeah, you can do it in a team. 2 is the minimum, maybe 4 is the max. But you go throughout these interesting places that we set, and you do these challenges. And at the end of the day, we all gather together and then reward whatever points you get. And after that, next year, we want to kind of organize our first bit more challenging rally. So this is going to be kind of our first approach into rallying. It's not going to be like a traditional rally where you see this one GPX file, and you just follow it. But it's going to be like checkpoint based with stages. And you have to gather as much checkpoints as soon as you, for example, if you imagine like a map, and then you see like red squares, and then there's like yellow squares and red squares, colors meaning difficulty. So if you go into that square or circle, that checkpoint is checked, and then you can move on to next, and you get certain amount of points. And this would be like 24-hour riding with your own kit with you, where you have to camp in the night, and so a bit more challenging stuff.
Okay. And then what else?
And just to cap back on these 2 different types of events for our community, what we want, and you mentioned the group riding, where the group pressure is, where you have to kind of follow the group. And we noticed that with some local riding groups, there's this kind of, sometimes these people who are it's more challenging for them to stay with the group. They're kind of neglected or made fun of. And that's what we want to kind of exclude from our community. And even if someone is like struggling, or it's a bit hard for them, or the motorcycle is not really good, we still want to include them in the group, We want to help him out, get with them. Maybe afterwards, like discuss, hey, maybe your tires, you need more upgraded, better tires, or you need some skills better, for next ride, maybe do some of these training stuff. But make them more of a community or supported community, and not feel anyone kind of neglected or a bit kind of, left out because he still hasn't that skill. Because at some day he's going to grow to that skill, And it's important that he's kind of supported. And also that's why we have these different events, You can have the quest game where you can find your kind of group who are maybe just beginners, ride together. You don't have to go through some maybe hard terrain or tracks, You can make an easier route to that location. And then that's why we're creating this rally, which is more for advanced riders, because we saw that a lot of riders, they wanted something more aggressive, more challenging, and this is going to be the event for them.
Yeah.
And after that, at September, we have our festival. So last year we organized it first time, and it was a lot of work, a lot of
What is it
team
called?
effort.
Outduro Scout.
It's called Outduro Scout, and a scout is basically a person who scouts the routes and learns and adapts and is sometimes on his own or a group, but essentially all the things that are happening in the event. We start off with it's a 3-day event, and it starts off with like team building, getting to know each other, tackling some challenges. Second day is playing the quest game, and the third day is group riding in different kind of skill levels. And throughout those days, we also have speakers or workshops where you kind of learn new stuff and hear experiences. And best of all, in the evening, you have the campfire talks, just share information. And last year we had some Australians, and this year we also had some Australians who are passing through.
It's actually so crazy that we have like people from all over the place. Basically, there is like from Sweden, England, Australia, twice actually.
Yeah,
twice. Like next year, there should be some Australians there.
So the biggest
Australians.
biggest shout out also goes to our Scandinavian friends, Thomas, Robert, Matthias, and now also Runa. You guys kind of showed to the Scandinavians, the Latvians,
Patched Bandit.
And from Finland, Patched Bandit. And you guys, for all the kind of Scandinavians, showed the Latvian nature, community, and really appreciate it. So Scandinavians, we are waiting for you next year as well to participate in our event. And we are now more looking forward to someone from South as well. So Poland, maybe Germany,
Yeah, there was no one from Poland, no.
Well, last year we had first year and second year someone from UK, Richard Carter, and we had from Italy actually again a couple.
Yeah.
And so some of the people are like around,
Yeah, it's really interesting, like you make an event in Latvia and you can meet up with people from all over the place and it's just like, surreal in a way, like it's like, for us it's like traveling in a way, like you go to your local place and you're like traveling, you meet up with riders from all over the place and like somehow like each year, I think it's a tradition now, like we should call it a tradition that there will be someone from Australia, like because why Australia? Because Australia is like fucking far away from us. Yeah, it's like so far away. It's like unreachable in a way. But it is reachable even with the motorcycle. There is like guy each year.
It's in similar way we kind of captured motorcycle adventures. Pavlin, first year as well. He was just passing through,
Yeah, passing through from the other side of Russia, like Magadan. Yeah. So
and this year locally, we had Shady Adventures. Passing through. He was going from Australia to North Cap.
Actually, Malaysia. I think he started.
Malaysia.
Yeah, but like whatever, it's the same. It's like the same distance.
And so we're really excited to see what other interesting people will meet next year.
Yeah, we need to get an Australian.
I think that's the real essence, when you meet people around the globe and you find out that they're actually like me as well.
Yeah.
And share the stories and share all the stuff. And after this great event, we have our own local quest, which is spooky, we call it, because it's near Halloween. And it's a night ride. It's in dark, and we kind of, the Outduro team likes to kind of bring emotions to our event participants. And so we dress up in costumes and scare the shit out of our participants. And we end the year with a patriotic ride. It's between the 11th and 18th. The 11th is the local Latvian military day and called Lāčplēsis Places. And 18th November is the proclamation day of Latvia. And between that, we kind of go on a flag ride. Everyone puts a Latvian flag on their motorcycle.
Yeah.
And in front, we have the person who created the route that symbolizes Latvia's contour. And we learn or refresh our memory of the history of Latvia, how we got independence, and I'm really kind of proud of my Latvian people because it's usually shitty weather, you know, it's always cold, it's always miserable kind of, and they still ride it through to the end and have a smile and a warm grip, and it kind of, you know, it's just a good reminder that there's a lot of still heartful people out
And
there.
there's usually a lot of people joining in for the event, and it's like, it's November, it's like
it's cold already.
no funny business there. It's just like really cold. It's so
and you know, with the happening situation in our neighboring country, we as a community also, that's another reason we want to kind of give our skills from the military as much as we can to the local rider, you know, help him teach the medicine stuff, navigation, and God forbid those skills will be needed in some crisis, but they're also useful in everyday, you know, situations.
Obviously, so let's go back to the Scout Festival. Like, so can you tell me, like, you know, for someone who's from Spain, like, we need to invite people from Spain now, like, because we didn't have any. No. So if you want to be the first Spanish guy, listen to this. So you have to get your motorcycle, get on it, and just ride to Latvia, or you can ride to Germany and then take a ferry to Liepāja in Latvia.
But it's also going to be a predicted date every year. The second weekend of September is going to be a Scout Festival. So you can already
book it in your calendar for next year. So second weekend of September, and so that's for who is that festival like?
The festival is actually
what do you do there? Like,
for the festival is for everyone. So we kind of at first we thought it's going to be for only adventure motorcycles, but we've seen that sometimes the adventure spirited people don't always ride adventure bikes. You know, of course, the activities and stuff like that are going to be more suited for adventure bikes, but we are welcoming other bikes as well that love adventure.
But I think, you know, like adventure bike, it's so weird that there is like a section of adventure bikes, because you can have adventure with like any bike, and sometimes like if you look up on, you know, like those Horizons Unlimited Facebook group or somewhere, like there's people like doing more adventures on like non-adventure, like that bike is so far from adventure bike as you can get, but it's doing more adventures than like someone on like the coolest adventure bike ever.
For us, I guess the difference is
the spirit.
It is the spirit. I guess the outdoors is kind of more of our thing, and you know, like the survival skills and the kind of the mindset, you know, that where you prefer staying outdoors and witnessing the gazillion stars instead of the 4 stars or 2 stars that you can get locally in a city. So we kind of want more of those people in our events, because we know that those people can feel or share the joy of adventure, and it doesn't matter if it rains, if it's not, whatever shitty weather. This year we had rain in our festival, and I was like, in the beginning of the year, like everyone's just saying this, oh, you guys are so lucky because in every event you haven't had rain, and I'm like, fuck, you jinxed it. You jinxed it. And I'm like, it's gonna be raining probably, and of course it did rain.
Well, it was fine.
But it was fine because of the people that were at the event. They made the best out of it.
Like, you know, it's raining, whatever. You know, like if you ride adventure bike, like you'll have days when it's raining. You can't like predict the weather. Like when you're going on a ride for more than one day.
And it was just in time because we had Moto Ball.
It was so fun actually to ride in and out after that as well. Like there was a field, mud field.
So for everyone who comes to Outduro Scout for the first time, be prepared because there's going to be a challenge at the beginning. So you have to overcome the challenge in a group.
But it's doable. It's
doable. And there's 3 different challenges. And if you overcome the challenge, you'll get your first reward. And the rewards throughout the festival, we have these badges. And we have different kind of activities. For completing different activities, you earn badges like Boy Scouts, Scouts. And you can collect these badges, and at the kind of ceremony at the event, the person with the most badges or certain kind of badge count or will get prizes as well.
Yeah.
So that's just another interesting way how to spend your time throughout the festival.
Yeah, I think the event is actually for someone who wants I think the adventure already starts if you decide to come to Latvia.
Yeah.
Like I think there is a part of adventure to get here.
Yeah.
Like if you live in another country, I would like it's kind of like a fun trip to make and like enjoy the trip itself,
Yep.
not just like transport yourself as fast as you can, but just enjoy the trip, come to Latvia.
Yeah. That's what like the Scandinavians, they met on the kind of ferry.
Yeah. Had a party. Yeah.
Had a party on the ferry. And then they used the Stegra application to ride to our event.
Yeah.
And they already enjoyed some of the interesting roads.
Yeah.
So it's like, and someone from who's a bit further, remember Richard Carter, he's from UK.
Yeah.
And he's just straight going, like he knows he's going to get all the adventure at the event.
Yeah.
So he's just passing every country and just getting straight to the event.
But it's still adventure to
It
get
is.
even
And
going straight.
The good
Like your
thing,
ass hurts.
the good thing about this festival is that whatever you want, you can experience and enjoy. If you want, like, just sit around and just talk with people, you can do it. It's not like you have to go and do these things. Huh?
Yeah.
You're free to choose and pick whatever you want. Quest games, there's two different variants. You know, there's for touristy, more of a touristy, and there's more of a hardcore. And then for riding, group riding, the same. There's a bit more challenging tracks and easier tracks. So you can adjust. You know, it's like for everyone.
So basically, you're saying there's like you collect badges on the festival, yeah? And what do you get if you collect the most badges? Or
so we have a lot of sponsors for the event as well, and we kind of pick the sponsors that are more related to what we are doing. So good gear, and it can be outdoors, it can be motorcycle luggage, whatever. So we hand out these sponsored gifts to the badge winners, and
you're telling about them. They're like, oh yeah, some gifts, but like side view from me, like it's like huge gifts actually. Like well, you could get like a Moscow Moto bag, like not Reckless 80 or like that would be cool maybe for next year. But you could get like the top bag from Moscow and like hammocks and all kinds of things like which are really useful and
we have
cool things.
Really good kind of sponsors. They really love the idea of this festival as well because they see that their kind of target audience is at this festival as well.
Yeah.
And so we appreciate a lot of collaboration with them. And as you said, there's a lot of good opportunities to get good gear.
Yeah.
And also not only gear because we have these partners coming to the event itself and they're actually giving some of their own knowledge, sharing with the community. And they're also giving some good discounts. So you mentioned Moscow. So Moscow is really a good kind of partner who collaborates and share the knowledge. So we have Royal in Europe who visited us this year, and he shared his knowledge on changing a tire. And we had packing, yes. So two things. And also we have had Twin Pegs visited this year and showing off their product and also letting the participants to test out their kind of agility skills or balancing skills.
Yeah, they had that bike, the balancing. There's like the bike basically was put on some thing, like basically on a stand, but you have to balance it. Like and there was some kind of you have to set some time.
Well. And there was a competition for that.
There was K-Moto, I think. with
K-Moto
with the track.
With CF Moto, you could try it out, and also the new Himalayan motorcycle. We had the Stegra app guys. Who introduced their app. We had Modern Nomad with their hammocks. And what else?
I think many other. Yeah, I think there was many.
We had like sponsored gifts from. What was it?
It's really difficult. Hopefully, no one. Yeah, it's like.
No, it was.
You have to come to the event to see the.
Come to the event.
But the thing is, like, I think what you can take, like, especially like really cool that the sponsors, like you said, the sponsors or like people from companies, they come over to the festival and you meet up with them and you see that they're like with Royal, like he's a adventure bike rider. He's not really like a sales representative. He's an adventure bike rider who have traveled like a lot more than I have, and like many of us have, and he has loads of experience. And on his like the packing master class, like I thought like I'm pretty good at packing, and I was taking photos, so I didn't like listen to all of it because you have to concentrate and shit. So, but on taking photos, but I could already find like few things that is useful for me, like as basic as the tire level. You can just push it through the Moscow thing. Like on the Reckless 80, there's like the Molly attachments, and you just push it through it. And it stays there. Yep. Like so simple, but like magic. Yes, and things like that. And then you get talking to other riders who have experience or who are, and you gain loads of knowledge. I think even like you get lots of knowledge from the knowledge and practicing skills from like riding during the event, but still like talking with other people in the evening with a beer in your hand, like you get a lot of things too.
Yeah, definitely. So for next year, we are interested in getting an actual chef to our event who will have a master class on cooking steaks.
Outdoors, like maybe like some other things.
And we need something to cook the steaks on. So if you're a brand that has cast iron pans or whatever pans, reach us out, and we would love to include you guys in the festival.
And like one of the things, well, you can see here, you know, like these cups over here, you know, like there is a white one, black one, yellow one. What like, are they just matching the hat, or what's the mean? Is there a meaning?
So starting off with the logo, we kind of I asked the designer create something that's easy to be embroidered. Yeah, and that's why it's so plain and simple. Because at the time I wanted to kind of embroider it. But I found a Lithuanian kind of company, it's called Baltic Patch, and they create these awesome kind of rubbery patches. And it can make a lot of details on the patches. But anyway, the logo, it symbolized our kind of the camping, the sun, as in the rising or evenings, you know, and the kind of tire around. And we started off with these mugs because I kind of needed a mug to use on my travels. You know, it had to be kind of cool and had the brand on. And a lot of people kind of dig these mugs, you know, and they ask, can I get a mug? And I kind of printed some for the members, you know. And then kind of came to an idea that this mug could be something that kind of unites, you know, the Outduro community together. And as the idea progressed, we introduced different colors because at some point everyone had white mug, and there's a lot of, you know, people who are not in the association, and so we came up with a black mug that is only for members, so the brotherhood, and we had the white mug. It was left as the mug for tribe people, and Einar has the white one today because he forgot his black one.
My black one is at home, so yeah.
But with your hat, the yellow one would probably suit better.
I do have this one as well.
Because you were at the Scout event. And this is all for Scouts. And we'll be introducing probably more of these mugs in future, kind of different colors and for different occasions and different kind of groups. And we'll have some benefits for different mug owners as well. For example, yellow mugs, when you visit our event next year, you'll get coffee for free, for example.
Oh, with this mug?
Yes, with the yellow one. And with the white one, maybe if you visit like the season opening there, you're going to get free coffee. And if you're talking about coffee, we created our own branded coffee. It's actually a local producer called Kalve. They create specialty coffee. And out of 14 different kind of brands of coffee, we picked the one. It's a really unique coffee because it tastes good on different methods that we usually in outdoors make the coffee. And it also tastes good when it's cold because one of the things for adventure riders, you make coffee, then you put it aside, then you pack, you know, and then you come back to your coffee and it's already cold. And this one, ours, kind of tastes good.
Yeah.
And thanks Egils for helping me pick out because he's the master in coffee. I mean, as he describes coffee with words that I have never heard before. Like,
Yeah, I think you had like a lot of process actually, like finding the right type of coffee that he likes. He's the expert of coffee from out of us. Like I'm no expert. Like don't really drink that much coffee, but yeah, it's a good coffee. That
same for me. I didn't know as much about coffee as I do now.
Yeah.
I mean, even like here's a small tip for you, who's listening to the podcast. If you boil your water, let it sit for 1 minute and then pour it in. Also, the coffee, if you get beans and then grind it in the campground, it's going to feel like fresher.
Yeah, it will taste better and more like...
Yeah. And when you kind of pour in the water, you can pour it in the middle, kind of, let it sit a bit, and then pour it a bit more. Then let it sit again, and then take a spoon and take off the top off. Like there's this foam, take it off.
Okay.
And it's going to make a change in the way how the coffee tastes. I was like the guy who just boils the water, directly pours it up to the lid,
I'm still that guy. Yeah. I'm still that guy. Oh,
Try
it's
it
just
out.
coffee.
It's going to make a difference.
Done. Yeah. Okay. So going forward to the next year, I think, no, actually, before that, we'll answer some of the questions. Basically,
Question time.
I asked people on my Instagram, to ask some questions to Rihards. And if you want to ask any questions in the future, just follow my Instagram, which is outduromoto.eu. And I'll post a story or something to basically ask a question to the next guest. And let me find them now. So we have do we have any questions? We do. Okay, so there's 2 questions. So Uldis is asking, can you move it to August? I think he meant
the festival.
Scout. Yeah. Will you do it for him?
Probably not, because as I said, we want this to be a tradition. The second weekend in the season, in September.
Yeah.
And August, we have our members' birthday. Outduro birthday is on 13th of August. It's the date when we kind of sign the papers for this association to be made, but I want it to be kind of the birthday of. And we need at least 1 month to prepare for the Scout Festival. And in July we have a different event, so it's too tight.
Yeah, and I think he's quite busy during the summer as well, and during the autumn, like September is pretty good for adventure riding because you have some mud. Like during the summer, it's kind of easy. You don't have any mud, and it's just like, and it's I think it just gives a bit of more nicer essence of the adventure riding, and it's kind of like a larger season ending, basically.
Yep. Also, it's the second week because first week is back to school.
Yeah. So, second question, Arvids, this is gonna be fun. Does his surname translate as gravel in English?
Funny thing, it's in American, I would say it's like grunt. In kind of army, there's these grunts that are basically it's just soldiers, just going through shit and just embracing it. So, and in Latvian, Grunte, it's like the foundation of rivers, the bottom of the rivers.
I think it's even for soil as well. Like there's
the hard part. Right?
Yeah, I think the part underneath the grass, that's the Grunte. Yeah, it is. Or
he needs just a refresher in his geology skills.
Yeah, I think it's called.
Could be. I mean, write in the comments. What is it?
Any Latvian who is listening to this.
What is my surname Grunte in your language? I hope it's not something disgusting though.
Okay, so yeah. Like I like the comments. Usually they're fun. Arvids comes up with something fun every time.
Thanks Arvids for visiting our Scout event. I mean, Arvids was one of our speakers, and he shared a great presentation on how to create videos. And also, he created an awesome video about Scout events. So if you write in YouTube Outduro Scout, you'll find his video.
Yeah, he does make awesome videos. Like if you're making your own videos, and don't watch his videos because you will be depressed, like I usually get. Like I will never be as good as him. So, yeah. So I think in the end we could talk a little bit about your plans, basically for the next year, like your personal plans for the next year, and then we'll do like. What are the plans with Outduro?
Yeah, so for next year, I'm planning on going on 4x4.
Right.
Yeah, that it doesn't mean I'm leaving adventure riding, motorcycle riding. Still gonna be there, but since I have a girlfriend now, we want to enjoy our free time together in more of a comfort. So this is like the next level in comfort, you know. But we still want to go in those gnarly trails. And if you have ever ridden an adventure bike with a pillion, you do understand that trails get it's out of the kind of, you can't go.
It's not really fun. Yeah. You can still do it. Like you can do it.
It's going to be hard.
It's just like, it's not fun. It's not enjoyable. Like.
Yeah. And we are planning to get her adventure bike.
Yeah.
Probably the CF Moto because it's just so cool and it fits her, right?
I think it's a brilliant beginner's bike.
Right?
Yeah, like right now it's just, I would say, the best beginners, girls, or like old guys bike.
Exactly. And but while we go through that, we're gonna get a 4x4. I'm looking at some Nissan Patrols.
Yeah. Okay.
And going a bit off-roading on that.
So all the money gonna go to the to that car now.
Yeah. So fingers crossed. Next year I'll start a subgroup in Outduro.
Outduro 4x4 festival. But yeah. So and what is the plans for next year as Outduro
So for Outduro, what I came to kind of a conclusion that we need like a house or a hub or an office or a headquarters, better to call it, where we can kind of gather all the members or people who are involved in events. And I needed a storage myself, and that's why this location where we are filming, it's actually the location of Outduro headquarters.
Yeah.
And that's
you can see from the flag
goal for you're probably going to see this wall a lot more because it's going to be probably in my videos. And next year we're going to be going through the refurbishing of this location, and I'll be starting a vlog, a more personal vlog on my private channel, and I'll let you guys get more involved in Outduro as well. Tell you more about the mugs, the products, the area, the location, the events that's happening. And for next year, as I said before, the events, it's going to be the same events with the new addition, the rally event.
Yeah.
All of the rest is going to be the same. So we're going to be working on the events. And we're going to be just evolving, growing. And after each event, we send out a survey and ask you guys how you enjoyed, where we can improve. And ever since, we've been just improving and making more of what you guys like. So
cool. Looking forward for next year. So a little cheers and
cheers.
And do you have any beer left?
How about you, Yusuf?
I don't have any beer left.
We have a chair in Outduro. In Scandinavia, you guys have this.
No, we're not.
Scandinavians have this skull, supa. Yeah. And but we in Outduro have. Outduro.
So cheers. No beer left for me. So
I did have
it. Thank you for watching. If you like to check out other episodes, just go to this channel. And see you at the next one. Bye. So also, if you want to get involved in this podcast, follow me on Instagram, and I will post a story every time before recording the episode, and you can send your questions in.